They came to Louisville to escape violence in their homeland. Now they're 5-year-olds recovering from a drive-by shooting that left another man dead.
An Elizabethtown family coming home from a funeral now has to endure another funeral. This one exponentially more painful after their 6-month-old dies in a crash.
U of L goes down on the road after 2 players get suspended as the Cards football team suspends a player facing gun charges. These stories and much more coming up right now on Sunrise at 6 o'clock.
Expect more right now. You're watching Wave 3 News.
Good morning on a spring-like February day. Welcome to Sunrise at 6. I'm John Bowl.
And I'm Lauren Jones. It's been a while since we've seen these storms behind us this morning. Perfect morning to download that free Wave 3 weather app. It's in your app store this morning as Christy Dutton joins us now with more on how long these storms will stick around and even the potential you and Brian have been mentioning for some severe weather later.
Yes, absolutely. Mentioning that Wave 3 weather app, that's the first thing I looked at when I woke up this morning. Yep. Where are the storms? How fast are they coming at us? Where are they headed? So it's a really nice tool to have in this sort of situation, especially. We have storms already moving in just to the south of Louisville. Now, Louisville, we are going to see some rain from this, perhaps a few storms as well, but we're not going to be in the strongest part of this system this morning. We don't have any severe storms, but let me tell you, these are intense. So we're not going to downplay this at all. This has some intense lightning with it, heavy downpours, gusty winds. Even though they're not severe, these storms and all this lightning could certainly be waking you up. I mean, look at Litchfield. You've just been pelted with that heavy rain and all this intense lightning, so have an electrical storm going on there. And as this continues to move up through E-Town, Hodgenville, now in Bardstown, and continuing to move up, even seeing a few of those spotty showers around Spencer County, even in Bullitt County right now, in Hart County. So where you see the orange-red colors, that's the heaviest rain with this, which could certainly cause some ponding of water on some of those roads. So be careful on your way into work. You can see here on the SkyTrack camera in E-Town, already we have wet roads there, and it's going to be the situation in some areas where that rain is coming down so hard that it's going to be hard to see through the windshield. So don't rule out the potential. You may have to pull over to the side of the road at times this morning if you're driving through the thick of this. 64 degrees outside right now. It is warm, but it's windy too. Those winds at 17 miles an hour. And we are under a slight risk of severe storms for today, mainly for the potential for damaging winds and large hail. Very small risk for an isolated tornado. Certainly something we're going to still keep our eye on. And the strongest storms are expected late morning into the afternoon. So take that umbrella with you. Download that Wave 3 weather app. Temperatures are going to stay in the 60s throughout the day today with a few rounds of storms moving through. The one out there right now, this is our first round of thunderstorms, and we have more on the way. Let's head over to Brian right now. Brian, we are seeing some of those wet roads out there for some folks. That could really slow you down.
Yeah, exactly, and that's from the rain that we had here in the Louisville area from around midnight. Still some wet roads in the area, but certainly the more south you go, more of that to contend with. A new accident just popped in a few moments ago. This is going to be on the southern part of the county, very close to, say, the southern side of Okolona and Hillview at Preston Highway and the Commerce Crossings Drive. That's right in front of the theater area, that red light, if you're wondering. All right, now, no accidents report otherwise in the area other than that one to the south, but we do have a situation of some heavy rain there off to the south. We're going to be monitoring carefully. In fact, a lot of rain impacting a good chunk of the parkways as of last check, and that is certainly going to be slowing you down on 65 South in the parkways all the way down into Hodgenville and into Litchfield. So if you have travel plans there, allow some extra time or just wait until a little bit later on today. John?
A death investigation is underway in Germantown after 2 people are found dead in a Germantown Mill Lofts apartment. Wave 3 News reporter Kayla Vanover joins us now live from LMPD's headquarters. So what do we know about the people who were found?
John, good morning. Police found a man and woman who they believe do have some sort of relationship, but police have not described that relationship yet. They've also not released how this man and woman died. Police arrived at the 900 block of Goss Avenue around 6:30 yesterday evening. They were there for a welfare check on the 2 people living there. When officers entered the apartment in question, they found the bodies of the man and woman. The investigation is worrisome for one neighbor who moved to this area for safety.
One of the main reasons I moved into this apartment complex to be in a safer neighborhood and, you know, not around things that were, you know, with that kind of outcome. So, yeah, that is crazy.
Police saying that no foul play is suspected and they are not looking for anyone when it comes to suspects. Germantown Mill Lofts released the following statement, which says in part, "We are saddened by the news of the loss of 2 residents. However, we can assure all of our residents there is no danger to anyone in the community, and our prayers go out to all of those affected." The names of both the man and woman have not been released yet this morning, and we're told LMPD's homicide unit is investigating. For now, reporting live, Kayla Vanover, Wave 3 News.
Well, here at 6:04, new on Sunrise, one person's recovering this morning after a shooting in the Phoenix Hill neighborhood. The shooting was reported in the 600 block of Rubel Avenue about 10:25 last night. The victim was taken to University Hospital, condition unknown right now. The cause of a deadly fire still unknown this morning as we learned the identities of the victims. The father and son were killed Sunday night on Ashlawn Drive in Valley Station. Firefighters weren't able to save 88-year-old Tilden Thompson or his son, 59-year-old Michael Thompson. Both men died of smoke inhalation.
A man shot in a drive-by in Louisville's California neighborhood Friday has died. His name has not been released this morning. The man was shot near 22nd and Grand Avenue. Witnesses say someone drove by in a black car firing off multiple rounds. No arrests have been made. A 5-year-old girl also shot in that drive-by shooting. She continues to recover this morning.
She just started bleeding, running around. She was confused, running around everywhere.
Hawa Muhammad's family lives near 22nd and Grand Avenue. They say she was sitting near a window watching TV Friday afternoon when she was hit by that stray bullet. A family immigrated to the U.S. from Somalia back in 2006 to escape the violence in their native country. They never expected an innocent child to become a victim in her own home.
And she didn't have nothing to do with this. I mean, you know, I don't know how those people would feel about this little girl, you know. They're putting her that low. That's so much pain for her, you know.
Thankfully, she is expected to survive and no arrests have been made.
Tragedy strikes an Elizabethtown family when their 6-month-old is killed in a crash. Leilani Adams died Sunday morning in Clark County. The baby girl and her parents were returning from a funeral in Virginia when they crashed into a rock wall on I-64. Right now, her father, Levante Adams, is at UK Hospital with a spinal injury. Her mother, Lexi, suffered minor injuries.
Horrible, but she's in a better place now, so you can't really do anything but be happy that she's in peace now, and she's with family members that love her. She's smiling down on everybody, so.
The crash is still under investigation, but it's believed the driver overcorrected after another vehicle got close to them and then crashed into the rock wall.
Here at 6:07 this morning, a violent night in Indianapolis finally coming to an end with police arresting several people this morning connected to 3 robberies and 2 shootings. Julian has the very latest information live in the Alert Center.
Yeah, good morning to you, Lauren. At least one of those victims recovering in serious condition at an area hospital this morning. This tweet from the Indianapolis Police Department says that 3 people are now in custody in reference to those multiple robberies and also a couple of shootings that happened. Here is a picture from one of those crime scenes from our sister station in Indianapolis, WTHR. We know around 11:30 last night, one person was shot. That's the person in serious condition after police say suspects kicked in this person's apartment door, shot the person in the leg. That person then being rushed to the hospital. We're also hearing the victim's roommate was also pistol whipped. Now, earlier in the evening and across the street, police say 2 other robberies happened at another apartment complex. A victim there was also shot. But as of this morning, the Indianapolis Police Department once again saying that those 3 suspects now in custody, and they do expect to release some further details as the morning progresses. Much more developing news throughout the morning. Live in the Alert Center.
Fire crews worked into the morning to put out flames at a recycling plant here in Louisville. This is how it looked at River Metals Recycling last night in the 2000 block of River Road, about 11 o'clock. No injuries have been reported. The cause of this fire is still under investigation.
6:08 here in Sunrise. You are taking a live look this morning from Washington, D.C., where the Senate will vote on Secretary of Education nominee Betsy DeVos. The vote expected to be tight, may even end up in the hands of Vice President Mike Pence.
Also ahead, 20 years after a deadly fire killed 10, 3 people have been arrested and charged with capital murder.
And we now have a thunderstorm moved over the county line into Louisville. I'll let you know where it is, where it's headed, and how long we're going to be dealing with these storms and your severe weather threat right after the break.
100% Kevin called it, definitely.
2 days before schools were closed.
That snow chance comes in Thursday mid to late morning.
Kevin called it.
He said it's coming in about 7, 8 o'clock this morning, and it did.
Get the earliest alert for what to expect next. Kevin Harnett and the Wave 3 News Storm Tracking Team.
With over 170 stations, News On lets you watch local news from where you live, where you're from, or where you're going. Tune in live or on demand. News On takes you there. Get the free News On app today.
The 92-year tradition continues when the Corsair Shrine Circus returns February 9th. Remember all the fun you had as a kid. This year, start a new tradition with your family. Come early for activities your kids will love. Tickets start at only $10.
That is a lot of vomit for a little guy.
Don't forget under the seat.
Trade in your old car seat, crib, or stroller and get 25% off a new one at the Great Trade-In event. Details at babiesrus.com.
This is not breakfast. It's a sad, lukewarm compromise wrapped in disappointment. Now this is breakfast. The DQ Real Breakfast, with warm, fluffy biscuits baked daily, covered in thick country-style gravy, and served with 2 Purnell sausage patties hot off the griddle, instead of whatever this is. And right now, you can get all this for less than $4. Mornings at DQ. Now this is breakfast. This is fan food, not fast food.
This is your house, and this is you leaving your house for hot yoga class. And this is what a washing machine leak does to your house while you're in the downward dog at hot yoga class. And this is what you do when you see the damage. And this is what we do. Recover, reconstruct, restore. Paul Davis, Louisville's water damage repair specialist for over 35 years. When the worst happens, call the best. Paul Davis of Louisville.
All right, come on, everybody. It's time to go.
Getting more for your money is simpler than you might think. When you shop at Kroger, you get low prices throughout the store, weekly specials, great value from our quality brands, digital coupons, and even fuel points to help you save at the pump. No spin, just savings.
Right now, boneless pork loin is just $1.69 a pound, and large avocados or mangoes are 99 cents each. Fresh food, low prices at Kroger.
Welcome to the spectacular Corsair Shrine Circus.
Mommy, look at that!
It's just like I remembered.
Make new memories with your family at the Corsair Shrine Circus, February 9th through 12th at Broadbent Arena.
Good morning. Taking a look at those wet roads out there in E-Town this morning. So as you're heading out the door, you're going to be driving on wet roads in many areas, Bardstown as well, and pretty much anybody to the south of Louisville. And now in Louisville, we're starting to see a thunderstorm moving through our area. We're going to have some heavy downpours too, some intense lightning. So if you're waking up, here's an early morning wake-up call to you with all this intense lightning. These storms are not severe. I know it is intense though. I know you're seeing a lot of that lightning and that thunder is loud. We've had a lot of lightning moving through Litchfield, Munfordville, Hodgenville, E-Town, Bardstown, Lebanon right now there in Marion County. You have that intense lightning moving through, and now we have a thunderstorm in South Louisville. It's moving through Fern Creek, McNeely Lake. If you're in that area, you've been seeing this thunderstorm and hearing that thunder. This is a heavy downpour right there, right along Fern Creek. So just coming down in buckets there. It's going to continue to move up toward the Middletown area, and then in Middletown and Simpsonville, you'll be the next ones to see that isolated area of that isolated thunderstorm. There it is not a severe storm. In fact, none of these storms in wave country are severe, but we are watching for that severe potential. Right now it's farther down here. It still has some travel time to get to us. The strongest storms we're expecting. You can see already some warnings that have been issued in Arkansas. So this is our first round of storms this morning. Our second round will be following behind it for the late morning into the afternoon. We are under a slight risk of severe storms for today. Our main threat is going to be wind damage and large hail. Look how warm it is already. 64 degrees in Louisville right now, 59 in Campbellsville, 61 in Austin, in Salem, Indiana. Those winds have been gusty, 26-mile-an-hour wind gusts in Louisville over the past hour. 29-mile-an-hour wind gusts in E-Town, 30-mile-an-hour wind gusts there in Fort Knox. Here's that 7-day forecast for you. So for today, temperatures getting close to a record high at 68 degrees. Our record is 69, so very close to that record high. It's warm, it is windy, and these storms rolling through. First batch this morning. The second batch will be moving through late morning and into the afternoon. So this afternoon, we're going to be watching out for any of these storms. Could have some supercell storms that may gain strength quickly, powering up with some damaging winds, large hail. That will be the potential there. And you can see it's not so much a line of storms as we're seeing those individual storms really power up during the afternoon. Our last and third round right now doesn't look like it's going to be able to gain enough strength to be a threat, but if it does, we'll let you know. That one's going to be moving through around dinner time and also around sunset. So we'll be watching that. So those rain chances, you can see where you have the red, that's that risk for severe storms, mainly during the afternoon. Temperatures staying warm and getting up close to that record high with that slight risk of severe storms. Tomorrow, the temperatures drop. A few showers still possible tomorrow, but then that could all end with a few snowflakes late tomorrow night. Not expecting any issues with that as temperatures drop.
After more than 2 decades, Los Angeles police have cracked a cold case and made multiple arrests in a deadly apartment complex fire.
In May of 1993, a fire ripped through the building, killing 10 people, including 7 children. The complex was often a first stop for immigrants flowing into L.A. from Mexico and other parts of Latin America. Yesterday, LAPD announced the arrests of 3 people.
This case was so horrific and had such an impact on anyone who touched it that we never gave up.
All 3 face capital murder charges. Police say there is a 4th suspect, and they're working to track him down right now. Okay, take a live look this morning from the U.S. Senate, where lawmakers are expected to vote on a controversial Secretary of Education nominee, Betsy DeVos.
Julian, following this case closely from the Alert Center this morning, a chance Vice President Pence could actually be the deciding factor in this?
Yeah, this is a really complicated matter, but it all boils down to that there could be a 50-50 split on whether or not Betsy DeVos should be the next Secretary of Education. And if that's the case, Vice President Mike Pence would cast that deciding vote. We'll walk you to how we got there. Live pictures once again from the Senate floor this morning as Democrats have been staging this 24-hour talkathon in protest of Betsy DeVos becoming the next Secretary of Education. They've said that they've received thousands of tweets, of emails, phone calls from their constituents saying that DeVos should not be the next Secretary of Education. What's at issue right here is that Betsy DeVos is a wealthy GOP donor who has devoted herself to boosting alternatives to public education. So Democrats are saying that she's out of touch. Some saying she hasn't done her homework for the position. Others concerned that she won't be a strong champion for the nation's public school systems. And so that's why they're staging this protest on one of the more controversial picks of Donald Trump's cabinet so far. Here's the current makeup of the U.S. Senate. 52 Republicans, 48 Democrats, and independents. You only need 51 votes to go ahead and push someone through and have them confirmed. But we know that 2 prominent Republicans, GOP Senator Susan Collins of Maine and Lisa Murkowski of Alaska, have announced that they plan to oppose Betsy DeVos as the next education secretary. What does that mean? A 50-50 split down the middle. When that happens, who breaks the tie? The president of the Senate, and of course, that is Vice President Mike Pence. That vote expected to happen around noon today. But one of the big reasons Democrats are staging this protest, they're hoping that they could sway possibly one more Republican vote to cross over and deny Betsy DeVos as being the next education secretary of the United States. Much more to come throughout the morning and throughout the day on this big story developing this morning in Washington. We'll keep you posted live in the Alert Center.
Happening today, a federal court of appeals will hear oral arguments on President Trump's executive order regarding immigration. The case comes after a federal judge in Seattle temporarily blocked the president's order. The executive order banned immigrants from entering the U.S. from 7 Muslim-majority countries. 6:18 here on Sunrise. Just days after winning Super Bowl 51, the Patriots are back in Boston this morning, ready to celebrate with their city.
The New England Patriots Super Bowl victory parades today. The Pats scored the final 31 points of the game to beat the Falcons 34-28, collecting their 5th championship in franchise history. It was the largest comeback in Super Bowl history and the first championship game that was decided in overtime.
18 after the hour, keeping an eye on the radar and on the traffic sensors this morning. We do have a couple of crashes, one in the Okolona area close to Preston Highway at Cooper Chapel. Also, we have a crash reported on the Snyder at Stone Street. Notice the downpour is developing though on either side really of the metro. Watch out for that as you head out the door this morning. We'll keep an eye on it as we have to plan out your Tuesday.
Plan your day right now with Sunrise to Go on the Wave 3 News mobile app, sponsored by AccuLevel, your foundation expert.
Today, a new Toyota Camry, only $235 a month with absolutely no money down at Jeff Weiler in Clarksville.
Right now at the Kia stores, new 2016 Kia Souls are just $111 per month, or take home 2 for $222. And if you have a job bringing home $350 per week, we want to improve your credit. Only at the Kia stores.
Enterprise Home Improvements. It's all in the E. Energy efficient, excellence, experience, expertise. Today through Wednesday only, receive 35% off our energy efficient doors and windows. Call Enterprise Home Improvements for all your exterior projects.
A drunk driver lost control of his car and hit us.
My back was broken and my mom was in intensive care.
They needed to protect their legal rights.
A friend highly recommended we call Richard Breen. I didn't have a very high opinion of lawyers till I met Richard.
I could have lost everything I owned if I didn't have Richard fighting for me.
Richard Breen, named one of the best lawyers by Louisville Magazine, and also chosen a Kentucky super lawyer.
The lawyer you choose makes a difference.
We made the right choice when we called Richard.
Yes, there were a few cracks in the walls and the sagging floors. We just dealt with it. But when the basement walls started to heave in, it was scary. We called AccuLevel, and they saved our house.
Foundation repair might not be your #1 priority, but it is mine. We fix foundations and crawl spaces to keep your family and your home safe. Call us for a free inspection or to get the job done. We're AccuLevel, Kentucky's foundation expert.
I've been in jail, I've been to rehab. The only thing left for me was death.
Everybody I remember getting high with is dead and gone.
The drugs make you a monster.
The main thing is asking somebody for help.
If it weren't for Renew Recovery, I don't think that I would have been where I am today.
I have my life back. I feel like I'm human.
Go to renewrecovery.com to see if your insurance plan is eligible. One call can change your life.
Would you try your luck at a Wheel of Fortune with only one chance to win?
Or with many chances to win. It's the same when shopping for the best deal for your home and auto insurance.
Most insurance agents represent only one insurance company with one price.
Family Select Insurance represents many insurance companies with many low prices, saving people hundreds of dollars.
Give us a spin at Family Select Insurance by calling 502-454-SAVE or visit FamilySelectInsurance.com because choice matters.
You've probably heard us use the term earliest alert, letting you know first of the next big weather maker. When we know, you'll know.
Wave 3 News.
Right now at the Kia stores, new 2016 Kia Souls are just $111 per month, or take home 2 for $222. And we want your trade even if you owe $6,000 more than it's worth. Only at the Kia stores.
Good morning. Taking a look outside at SkyTrack camera out in Bardstown where we have those showers. We've had some rumbles of thunder moving through. A lot of you all are waking up to some pretty intense storms out there this morning. No severe storms out there right now, but certainly we do have some of those thunderstorms that have woken a lot of folks up. Here's your hour-by-hour forecast, and we have this first round of storms moving through this morning. The second round will be moving through late morning, early afternoon, and that's the round that could be severe. So you can see right here, 1, 3, 5 o'clock, we'll be watching this time period for some storms may become supercells, meaning they're not so much in a line of storms, but the individual cells that power up that could bring wind damage and large hail. So we'll certainly be watching out for that. Also going to be watching out for a very small tornado risk. It's very small, but just can't rule it out. Mainly wind and hail is what we're concerned about. Still watching for a third line that may move through around sunset. Not sure that's going to be able to power up to really have a big impact on us. But here's the first round of rain. Look at that intense lightning. Pea-sized hail potentially this morning. That's not severe, but up to severe limits, but certainly could be waking up to some of that. We have had this quick thunderstorm that moved through South Louisville, McNeely Lake, Fern Creek, and now Simpsonville, Raymond Hill, heading toward Chestnut Grove. here in about 5 minutes, and Bellevue 635. It's moving fast. These storms moving at about 55 miles an hour. We have these storms popping up all over the place, even around Corydon, in Oldham County, seeing some of that. I just saw some lightning there just to, looks like just to the east of us right now. So we have some lightning in the area. Also around Spencer County, Taylorsville, seeing some of that lightning maybe waking you up this morning. The most intense part of this is farther down here to the south central Kentucky. I know a lot of you all waking up saying this lightning is very intense. It's very out of control. And you're right, you do have a lot of lightning with this. These are not severe thunderstorms though, but lightning can always be dangerous for if you're going to be outside. Here's a look at that forecast for today. Periods of thunderstorms. We'll see a few rounds. Some could be severe, and 68 degrees for that high, which is only 1 degree away from a record. Tonight, that rain tapers off and those temperatures start to cool down, 42 degrees. So Brian, as a lot of folks are heading out the door right now, a lot of them seeing a lot of this lightning and wondering, what am I going to be concerned about as some of these storms may go severe?
Yeah, because we've been talking about the potential for severe today, but keep in mind this morning round is more of a small hail threat than anything, and potentially some very, very heavy rain as they train themselves. So here's the setup for today. We're talking about a slight risk of severe weather that includes all of our counties, as Christy's been talking about, breaking down the threats. More specifically, when it comes to large hail, we're talking about 1 inch in diameter. That's the threshold for a severe thunderstorm warning to be issued. That potential is there, but it's not on the high scale. It's only about 15%, but we can't rule it out completely. More than anything, small hail will be more likely. Damage and wind potential, threshold there, 58 miles per hour. That potential is about 15% to be reached around the area. Already got winds now 30 to 35, so technically not far from it. Tornado potential is low, and the reason for that would be that very last line with the actual front, say around 6 or 7 o'clock this evening. The models are not developing it much, but if it were to develop, an isolated tornado threat would then take place. That's something we're just going to have to take hour by hour. Lauren?
A kick in the gut for Cards fans. 2 players suspended for missing curfew in a tough road game only made things worse.
U of L had to battle Virginia last night without Dingadell and Mango Mathiang. In the first half, you couldn't really tell they lacked a bench as VJ King stepped up, having a big game, taking the lead here with 3 of his season-high 24. Moments later, though, David Levish throws a great alley-oop to Jalen Johnson as the Cards led 34-32. We're a little ahead of ourselves here. That's second half action now. Louisville kept it close, but the lack of depth really showed down the stretch. Virginia had some breakouts, attacking the rim. You saw that breakout dunk right there. The Cavaliers knocked off the Cards 71-55. Next up, the Cards host Miami. It's Saturday at 2 o'clock. U of L football player's been suspended indefinitely after the football program learned he's facing gun charges.
Alfonso Carter was pulled over by LMPD back in December near 15th and Hill. Police say the junior cornerback had an unlicensed loaded 9mm handgun under the driver's seat. Carter's the 3rd Louisville football player currently facing criminal charges. Here at 626, refunds on the way for people who bought tickets to a now canceled tennis tournament.
The Women's Tennis Association was planning to hold the Louisville International Open at the Louisville Boat Club. People who bought individual tickets have already received full refunds, totaling $100,000. But what about the people who shelled out $13,000 for what's called a Founders Circle membership? Kentucky Attorney General Andy Beshear is working to get some of that cash back, maybe up to 70%. The people affected will be getting a letter and claim form in the mail.
He hit a guy that was on the highway. His legs missing, part of his legs missing. He's in the windshield of this guy's car.
A 911 call in the dead of the night. A body on the windshield. The dispatcher asking if there's a pulse, but the man who hit the victim says he doesn't really want to.
Death investigation or murder. A body is found behind a store. Police say natural causes, but the 14-year-old who found the body has a different story. That's next.